In this video, we'll go over the kickoff. Kickoffs are how we start a game. Also, it's how we start start the replay after a goal has been scored, right? So notice on the right side, I have a full complement of 11 players. I don't have it on the left because I didn't want the image to be too congested looking. So let's go over the positions again. So we have the goalkeeper in the back. We have the right outside back here. We have the right inside back, or right back, left inside back, and then left outside back. A defensive midfielder or a holding midfielder. We have a right midfielder over here, a center mid, and a left mid, and we have our two strikers or forwards. Notice the position that when you're defending a kickoff play, the other team has to be outside the circle area, right, outside the center circle, right, until the ball is kicked or touched. Once it is, then we can rush in to try and win the ball back, and that's what we want to try and do. So the kickoff team has several options usually, right? What's going to happen here is the first person will touch the ball to a second person, and that person can then go forward with it or go backward with it, or the person kicking the ball could just go directly back with it, right? Or the person kicking the ball could just kick it down the field. That's another option. So imagine, if you will, we have the dark team here has another player up on the line. In fact, when we're kicking off on the offensive side of the equation, we'll probably have players up here on the line as well. But so imagine the two basic scenarios would be if you had a person up here, maybe a person down here as well for the other team. This person up here that's facing us could tap the ball across the midfield line. This person here would then have an option of kicking the ball into space here for maybe a player running onto it to take it into the goal. Or perhaps the player makes a run down the wing here, and again, they try and get it a little bit further out that way. Right, so that's one option for going forward. Of course, the same thing could happen on the other side of the field, right? You could do it in the reverse. Another option would be if you have a winger here, they could just start sprinting down the field. This person could just kick the ball in the air or kick the ball as far as they can down here to try and hit that player and then go in the goal that way. And the other way, I guess, that you'll see most often would be to kick the ball back to one of the midfielders here, right? And then kind of work the ball around to go down the field. One of the advantages of kicking the ball back would be to draw the other team in, right? And when you draw the other team in towards you, that creates space out here, right? Because if the players are in here, that means there could be open space in here. So if you're really good with ball possession, that's a good tactic to use. Pass the ball back, draw the players in, and then kick the ball out here into space. However, you need time to make that happen, and you need skill to make that happen. And what we're going to try and do for the most of our kickoff plays when we're defending them is we want to blitz the players, just like in football, you blitz the quarterback. So what we're going to do is the players around here are going to blitz this person here, thinking that the skill won't be there to send the ball down the field right away. We'll get to the ball before they do. So we're going to take the gamble here, right? And we're going to do a lot of blitzing on the kickoff plays. So for instance, let's just say that the player here plays the ball back to one of the outside midfielders, okay? So let's just say this person here just kicks the ball right back to this person down here. If that's the case, we want this person here, the outside or the left forward, right, or striker, to blitz that person. And the same with the midfielder here, right, the left midfielder, to blitz that person to try and win the ball right here, right? If there's a winger, they have another player out here on the wing, right, this player and this player, the focus should be on the ball. We want the defender and maybe even the defensive midfielder to come in and get the player coming down the field that way. All right, so that's the gamble we're going to take. That's how we're going to play an aggressive style of ball. And that's kind of what we want to do for a kickoff play. And we'll show you a video clip of that in a second. So let's go. This is a video of the varsity team last year. After about a couple days of training, we split the team in half. We had 20-some players. I think this was a 10v10 or 11v11 match. And there's no coaching involved here. I just wanted to see how they lined up on a ball for kickoff. So this is a friendly, maybe a week after we started playing. And just look at the picture here and look at, it tells you a lot because of the experience level with play. Notice that the offensive team here in white only has 2 players at the center circle for the kickoff. The defending team, look how far back they are. So they're yielding all this space right away for the white team to come into their half of the field and try and score. The other team, for instance, too, is not aggressive because they could have players up on the line here. All right, now granted, some players didn't know each other. This was the first time they'd done this, so there was no real leadership going on as far as who does what. We just kind of threw this together real quick. So they should have players up here on the line as well. So let's play this out and watch what happens here. So I'm just going to click on it and play it through, right? So they do kick back, and our players here in the blue are just jogging in, right? And so let's just go ahead and play it through. And they do get the ball, in this case, across midfield. It kind of ended quickly there. So it wasn't a very good pressure situation. We allowed the opponent to come forward, which we don't want to do. So we worked on that a little bit, and then the following week we had another scrimmage. Let's see if I can get this here. So that was the first time. So here's another one. Now you can see we were focusing on defending, so we weren't really focused on the offensive side. So again, the blue team should have had people up here on the line as well, players on the line, but they did not. But you can notice now that we have our two forwards on the circle, and we have our center midfielder right here on the other circle. So depending on where they pass back, we're going to blitz. Now we still don't have players up in here like I wanted, but we took it one step at a time, right, to see what happens here, right, because we could have pushed up a little bit more. So let's play this through and see what happens here, right? So let's just stop that a second. She jumped a little bit, but remember, as soon as the ball is touched, she can go in. So she was anticipating a pass back, and when the person who had the ball saw that she was rushing back, she tried to change it up and pass the other way. Let's take a look at that again. And remember, she can't touch the ball twice, which I think she did too. Whoever kicked the ball cannot touch it twice. But notice right now the ball is back in our offensive third, and that's what we want. Now we couldn't take it. The white team was not able to take advantage of that, but that's kind of what we want to do, and we want them to sprint a little bit faster to win the ball as quick as possible. So when they pass back, we want to win the ball in here and then have a chance to take it to goal, right? And the players behind the players up front need to be ready for any pass that's down the field to send it back on our offensive half. So that's kind of how we want to play going forward. All right, so here is the first match that we had in the season. This was a team that it was very new. The girls were very inexperienced, and maybe they didn't have time to go over a kickoff play in the beginning of the season. So they only had one person up here, which meant that she had to kick back, and she was inviting everybody to come back in. And unfortunately, you'll see in the video, she took 2 touches, which is not allowed, right? So it's something you can't do. You have to kick to another player. You can't take 2 touches in a kickoff play. That player has to do 1 touch, and another player has to touch the ball. We wound up with a 6. The team got better. The white team got better as the game went on. They were very athletic. We had a 6-0 lead at halftime, so we basically put in the JV team after that to take over. But let's take a look at this play and see what happens here. This is kind of what we want to do as far as pressuring the ball. So let's take a look. So you'll see her touch the ball twice here, forward, and so she can't do that, right? And so the girls didn't know how to take that, and they stopped play. They heard the ref's whistle. Now they have 2 players up there, which still isn't enough, right? You need at least another one up there, depending on what you're doing. And there's no offensive players back in here as well. They have to kick the ball way far back. And so we anticipated a little bit too much, but we didn't get it right where we wanted. And instead of kicking it down the field, of course, we made a mistake in our first match here of kicking the ball back when we should have maybe gone forward. But that's the idea, is to win the ball in here and win it in our half of the field, offensive half of the field, and take it to goal. All right, that's what we want to do. That's the example of that one. All right, I just want to show you, this is the U.S. Women's National Team, and this is an aggressive style kickoff play that they took against a team that really wasn't that powerful. I think it was Thailand last year. And notice, Thailand's giving them a lot of space, but I think they feel intimidated because there are seven players on the line. And then we have our backs here, 3 backs, and the goalkeeper you don't see. So the strategy here is to kick the ball down the field as fast as you can and blitz, basically, the other team and try and get a goal-scoring opportunity. So let's play this one through. You can see how it works, right? So she's going to kick it back to the center defender, and she's going to hold in there in case anybody comes in. But she's going to dribble into the circle now, and then she's going to send it really long. But look how many players we have in the offensive third right away, right? So if they win the ball back here, they have a good opportunity to take a shot and maybe score a goal. So that's kind of another play that we can think about. It's dangerous in that you're committing yourself, because if they counter really quickly, you don't have the defenders back. But that's something you can take into consideration. Last year, Now I want to go over some of the kickoff plays we might have. This is if we play 11v11. If we play 8v8, we'll have to do a modified version. But what we'll probably do here, this is called the Montana, or basically Montana and Maine. So Montana, if you think about it, it's easy to remember, it's on the left or western side of the United States. So it's sort of in this area up here, right? And if we call Maine, Maine is on their east coast, so it's going to be in the other direction. So this is the Montana play where we're going really left. Think of it that way. So we have our right midfielder up on the line here with our right forward, a center midfielder here, a right back, a defensive midfielder, a left forward, and the left midfielder right over here. These positions could change, but this is the way we set it up. So we do a pass back through here to the right back. That gives these players time to sprint down the field. It gives the right forward a little bit of time to move over here, right? And then the right back can dribble up towards the midfield line, right? And then send a long ball down, and we have, hopefully, right into the running path of some of our players running onto the ball to get an opportunity to shoot and get a goal. So that's one way to do it. And of course, we could do it in the reverse, where we do the left back and send it that way, and that would be Maine. Right, so easy to remember, so you can call that. Whoever's going to be kicking off can work together to figure out what play they want to use. Another play we used is we looked at the sort of the same concept, but maybe instead of a long ball, it was more short and worked the ball down the field a little bit. So this is, we call this the 10 o'clock or 2 o'clock play. So in this case, we're doing 2 o'clock. So if you think of a clock, 10 o'clock is about right here, right, somewhere in here, and then we have 2 o'clock over in here someplace. So again, these players are going down the field a little bit. We can kick back to the center mid. The center mid then, as soon as the ball's passed the center mid, the right forward starts running down wide this way. And the other thing is, we hope that by putting players on one side like this, overloading a side, that a lot of their team will start defending the side, thinking the ball is going to be down in here. So the idea here is we pass back to the center mid. This right and forward starts going wide. We give a pass out to them, right? The center mid can go over to give them a drop. If they need to pass back to that center midfielder, they can certainly do that. But then, of course, as soon as the right forward gets the ball, they have the option of dribbling the ball. If they draw players over towards them and abandon the players over here to the left, then that player can then pass over into our oncoming players to hopefully create a goal-scoring opportunity, or, again, dribble into space to take a shot. So that's the 2 o'clock play. The reverse would be, we set up like that, but do it on the reverse side. That would be the 10 o'clock play, right? So that's one option. And so we'll go over more of these. And again, if we play 8v8, we'll have to modify these positions. But I wanted to give you an idea of how we might set up for kickoff plays.